Okay. What the fuck is this? Darling Onia?
Yeah,
Cobra?
you got it.
What? Is that a plant snake?
Yeah, it's a plant cobra.
It looks. I mean, it just looks so strange. If this card is special summoned by the effect of Predaplant monster, you can add one polymerization spell card or fusion spell card from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect once per duel. Once per duel? Wow. Okay, so this one makes a lot more sense why you only one. Oh no, like that was upset. This makes a lot more sense why you're only running one of these. Because if it's once per duel, have you ever shown me an effect that's once per duel?
I may have, but it may have been ages ago. Once per duel is not very common, but it's not uncommon either. So, especially as Yu-Gi-Oh has aged, there's been more and more effects that have had that text. But this is one of them. This is one of them.
Do balance, or they do test the game before they release the cards, then.
Sure.
Polymerization is what is like fusion summoning through monsters or something, or using the.
Correct.
It's that one card that summons or fuses two monsters together and pulls something from your extra deck, right?
Correct. Or fusion spell card, which I may or may not have shown you in our previous just what we talked about 5 minutes ago.
Okay, I was gonna be like in the previous video. Hold on, let me scroll up here. Okay, so oh,
pretty good, huh?
Oh, okay. So you play the Scorpio. This pulls the Cobra, and then you pull the fusion.
Pretty good, huh?
I'm trying. Okay, like I mean, if Brilliant Fusion was banned, you said banned right now. It's limited.
Correct. No, it's banned.
So
it's still banned. Brilliant Fusion's still banned. It's limited in the Asian territories, but we're not talking about.
Okay, sorry. You just want me to tell you if these cards are banned or not? Because I guess they're like a pet. It's a package.
Or if you think it's good,
sure, right?
like maybe I'm just baiting you, and this combo sucks.
It's interesting because Infusion is the best card in your deck, which it very much might be, depending on what you've already said. And obviously the card is banned, so it's clearly good. And this is a consistent way of getting it in your hand. Do you run multiple copies of Fusion in this deck?
In like this instance, like this hypothetical, yeah, you would still run 3 Brilliant Fusion. Yes.
Okay, so this is just like redundancy to find the Fusion. Like,
sure.
That's what I'm understanding.
And again, like you can find any card that has Fusion in the name, right? So it's like any of these like. I'm not obviously showing them to you, but there's a million. Actually, I will show you a couple actually later on. Funny enough, now that I think about it, there's like a million cards in Yu-Gi-Oh that are like blah 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 fusion. So this can search any of those.
As long as you don't draw, this is a good thing.
As long as you don't draw it. As long as you don't draw it.
We've already spoken about how the fact that like drawing cards in Yu-Gi-Oh is the greatest thing ever. So I mean, this is just a game. You're running one card. You're running 2 cards that draw one. Specific one to draw another one. So it's a chain of things to make sure you're redundant to get your fusion card, which I did. As far as I'm aware, if you don't get the fusion card for these decks, you're just losing the game or your deck doesn't function. So you need to,
yeah, you're...
The graveyard. Special summon one Predaplant monster from your deck, except this one. You could only use this effect of this one once per turn. Okay. If this is normal summon or special, you can send one monster from your hand to the graveyard. And then special summon one monster. Are the Predaplant's cards extremely good?
Funny you should ask, Raren. Here is your Garnet in this scenario.
Okay. What the fuck is this? Darling Tonia?
Yeah,
Cobra?
you got it.
What? Is that a plant snake?
Yeah, it's a plant cobra.
They do balance, or they do test the game before they release the cards then.
Sure.
Polymerization is, what is it, like fusion summoning 2 monsters or something? Or using the...
Correct.
It's that one card that summon or fuses 2 monsters together and pulls something from your extra deck, right?
Correct. Or fusion spell card, which I may or may not have shown you in our previous, just what we talked about 5 minutes ago.
Okay, I was gonna be like in the previous video. Hold on, let me scroll up here. Okay, so oh,
pretty good, huh?
Oh, okay. So you play the Scorpio. This pulls the Cobra, and then you pull the fusion.
Pretty good, huh?
I'm trying. Okay, like I
Why
mean,
not?
if Brilliant Fusion was banned, you said banned right now. It's limited.
Correct. No, it's banned.
So
it's still banned. Brilliant Fusion's still banned. It's limited in the Asian territories, but
We'll go with this.
Okay, and sorry, you just want me to tell you if these cards are banned or not? Because I guess they're like a pet. This is a package.
Or if you think
deal
it's
for
good,
sure,
like
right?
maybe I'm just baiting you, and this combo sucks.
It's interesting because if Fusion is the best card in your deck, which it very much might be, depending on what you've already said, and obviously the card is banned, so it's clearly good, and this is a consistent way of getting it in your hand, do you run multiple copies of Fusion in this deck?
In like this instance, like this hypothetical, yeah, you would still run 3 Brilliant Fusion, yes.
Okay, so this is just like redundancy to find the Fusion. Then. Like,
Sure.
That's what I'm understanding.
And again, like you can find any card that has Fusion in the name, right? So it's like any of these, like, I'm not obviously showing them to you, but there's a million. Actually, I will show you a couple actually later on, funny enough, now that I think about it. There's like a million cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! That are like blah, blah, blah Fusion. So this can search any of those.
As long as you don't draw it, this is a good effect.
As long as you don't draw it. As long as you don't draw it.
We've already spoken about how the fact that like drawing cards in Yu-Gi-Oh is the greatest thing ever. So I mean, this is just you're running one card. You're running 2 cards to draw one specific one to draw another one. So it's a chain of things to make sure you're redundant to get your Fusion card. Which as far as I'm aware, if you don't get the Fusion card for these decks, you're just losing the game or your deck doesn't function. So you need
yeah, you're not in a good place if you don't see the Fusion cards for those types of decks. Yes, I would say that's generally a good rule of thumb to keep things simple for you.
So then this comes the conversation of, is this the problem, or is it the card? Is the actual Fusion card itself the problem that they need to ban?
Okay.
Because this technically, if this doesn't do enough turn 1, are they going to ban it? Because it obviously does enough for your deck where you draw your like start of your combo, which is, I think for Yu-Gi-Oh standards is probably fine because a lot of decks do that. If it allows you to just win the game on turn 1, I'm starting to understand for Yu-Gi-Oh, at least from all these videos, is like if you win on turn 1, they probably don't want that in the game. Like they need at least, hopefully they want one other person or the other person to play the game.
Hopefully.
So if that's the case, then I think it's the Fusion that's the problem and not necessarily the Cobra and or the Scorpio. Without seeing the rest of the Fusion cards, I don't think this is banned. Like it's just redundant. In a combo deck, at least in Hearthstone, is good because you draw your combo quicker, but you're only running it to get to the cards that you want to get.
Okay.
If you could run less cards in your deck, you wouldn't run redundancy, so I don't think it's banned.
Okay. Even though this can search any Fusion card, are they going to ban every Fusion card?
Yeah, but I don't know what the other Fusion cards are.
That's fair. That's fair.
I'm going with the fact that if you showed me the main Fusion card, I'm going to call it the main. I obviously have no idea. But if you're showing me that Fusion card and that one's banned without knowing what the other ones are, as long as they're not on the same level as that one, I don't think this is like a ban.
Sure.
Like it's good. It's good, but I don't think it's banned.
I will definitely say this was a combo that people would use Orpheus Scorpio to get Darlingtonia Cobra to search Brilliant Fusion. That was very common while Brilliant Fusion was still legal. And you are correct. Orpheus Scorpio nor Darlingtonia Cobra have served any time on the ban list. Let's be honest, if they're going to hit one, it would probably be the Scorpio. But yes, so this combo is very potent. Brilliant Fusion was not the only fusion that people would search with this combo. There are plenty of other very powerful, funny enough, some of them are banned fusion spells that this card can search. Maybe this is part of the reason for that, to be honest. But in any case, just being able to get, not only are you getting the fusion spell that you want, even though it comes at the cost of a discard, who cares? That's mostly an upside a lot of the time with these decks. You're also putting 2 bodies on the field as well, which means they're both level 3. So if you're playing a rank 3 Xyz monster, for instance, you can then immediately
I don't remember how to play Melodious.
Comboing potentially. There's some stuff I could have showed you, but it would just gotten a bit too complicated. But that's like something you can do. You can use them for like other things, you know, right? Like there's so much value here. And like you said, the redundancy is good because it makes your deck more consistent to get you to do the very unfair thing, which in this case is resolving Brilliant Fusion. But you're correct. You did not take the bait. Darlingtonia Cobra and Orpheus Scorpio are just fine. Let's see what you think about this guy.
Is this Beyblades in my Yu-Gi-Oh? What is this? Speedroid Terratop? Yeah, that's what it is. In case anyone's curious, the card's like the last letter could be an R, so I was double checking. If you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. And this is normal or special summon. You can add 1 Speedroid monster from your deck to your hand, except one of these. You can only use this effect of this one once per turn. Okay. Hey, Stemo, are the Speedroid cards good?
Funny you should ask, Raren. Funny you should ask.
What the fuck is this? Take Tomborg?
Taka Tomborg to Ketumborg. Honestly, I don't know if anyone knows how to properly pronounce this card's name.
You control a wind monster. You could special summon this card from your hand. You could tribute this card, special summon 1 Speedroid Tuner from your deck. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except wind monsters. You can only use this once per turn. Okay, hold on a second. So, the Speedroid Terror Top says if you have no monsters, you get a free special summon. That's already good. And then when this is normal summon, you draw a card from your deck. And I'm assuming you're showing me this one specifically because it allows you to get a tuner from your deck. So you're drawing another card. And if you build your deck correctly, you're probably summoning wind monsters. For the sake of revaluing these cards, do any wind monsters matter in this case? Or are they just all good?
So, I mean, Terror Top is itself a wind. So, you know, hypothetically, you go special Terror Top, add Takatomborg, and then you can immediately special summon the Takatomborg. Keep in mind, you only get locked into wind monsters if you use the second effect of Takatomborg. Those are 2 separate effects.
Where does the second one start? Special summon 1? Is that
yeah, when it says you can tribute this card, special summon a Speedroid Tuner, and then it locks you into winds, that's a separate effect. So you can special summon the Takatomborg without being locked into a specific attribute.
Okay, that's actually extremely interesting. So you could just draw this card for fodder for something else. You don't even have to use the special summoning thing. And if you do want to tribute it, you can at least find something specifically to actually get one of your fusion monsters. I'm trying to remember. Do tuner monsters mean like you're doing fusion summons?
Synchro. But I know what you meant something from the extra deck. Yeah, I got you.
God, that is an interesting one. The first one makes a lot of sense because you're just drawing a card and you get to play it. I don't know why you wouldn't. And even if you just draw the take Tomborg, you just get another monster on your board that you could probably just use to sacrifice something from your extra deck. Then you have both them in your graveyard.
I will also clarify, Takatomborg is a soft garnet. So obviously, if it's like in your hand, you know, Terror Top doesn't special it directly from the deck, right? It adds it to your hand first. So, you know, the Speedroid Terror Top still works, even if you don't want to draw Takatomborg, you want to get a free card out of your deck, and you'd rather it be something else. But it doesn't, like, ruin, like, compared to Orphis Scorpio or Brilliant Fusion, those cards cannot function if the card is, like, in your hand. So this one's, like I said, we call this a soft garnet, or a brick, if you will.
So if you have, like, because what, if you're running, like, 3 of them in your deck and you have all 3 of them in your hand, you play the Beyblade, you get to summon all 3 as well?
Yeah, that is true.
That's, okay, that is...
Well, it says you can only special summon Takatomborg once per turn, so no, actually. But...
Oh, okay, sure, yeah.
Hypothetically, like, over the course of multiple turns, you could do that.
Okay, so hold on. If I went back in time, this one says to draw your fusion. These ones do not say that. This one is just to draw another monster from your deck or another a tuner from your deck, so you can sync or something. Again, if these are all setups for turn 1, how good is that? You draw something, you play this, you have another monster. So does this card, you special summon 1 tuner from your deck? This card is also still on the board, and so is your Beyblade. I'm assuming that either one of the Borg or the Beyblade itself is also used to synchro summon the monster that you're going to use the other tuner for.
Let me help you out. Let me help you out. Let me give you this guy here.
Okay. I think a lot of these combos are really contingent on like what you're pulling out. Because yeah, like you're doing a lot of fancy stuff here, but is it worth it?
Let me give you, because at least with Orphis Scorpio, you can search Brilliant Fusion.
Fuck?
That's the thing. So let's give you the payoff for this little combo here. Let's see if you can put it together.
MX Saber Invoker. My God.
This guy's tough.
Once per 2 level 3 monsters. Okay, so in this case, yes, you don't even need to use the tribute thing, like to get the tuner. You can just kill it. Okay. You can detach 1 material from the, once per turn, you can detach 1 material from this card. Special summon 1 level 4 Earth Warrior or Beast Warrior monster from your deck in defense position, but destroy it during the end phase. Oh my God. Okay, so
I hear the gears turning.
You can synchro summon multiple times per turn. I just if I'm wrong about that, just say something. But
this
I
is
think that
Exceed
is the
summon,
case.
but yes. Aside from that,
so you could just hold on. And if I remember correctly, if I detach something from one of these cards, like nothing else changes, right? You just -1 like resource on it.
Correct, on it specifically. Yeah, Invoker stays on the field.
My God. Sorry, hold on. I'm just trying to figure out how good that actually is.
My
Okay,
God.
so you get another Earth Warrior monster from your deck. So you're drawing another card. which means those cards probably draw something else,
Sure.
or they do something
is a good
beyond.
enough
Welcome to
matchup.
Yu-Gi-Oh, buddy. Welcome
So
to Yu-Gi-Oh.
you
I
have
should
just
probably
a,
replace-
like a non-stop chain of drawing like probably anything you need from your deck at this point. I'm going to imagine because Invoker seems like it would carry on the
Fenrir.
tradition of like you're drawing something specific, which
Oh,
means
a
that thing
beautiful
also probably
hand.
does something. This probably builds towards a really good combo. I mean, I don't know if it's as good as the fusion thing. I think the fusion thing is still much better. The interesting thing about this one is how much you're actually drawing from your deck. Like this is like I wonder where the line stops, because once you pull your Earth Warrior or your Beast Warrior, I'm sure that one of those cards does something, and they're also all in your graveyard, which is also extremely interesting at some point, at least I should say.
I'll help you out here. One of these 3 cards was banned. Try to figure out which one.
Oh, great!
What? You have a 33%.
Yeah, but they're all like, it's interesting because they're all doing kind of like, they're all part of a greater sum. What's one, if basically I have to ask if one thing wasn't a part of it, would it break? So in my opinion, it's not the Invoker then, because the Invoker is needed. You can't get the Invoker without the other 2. So which one is actually more important than that? That's a great question. Probably the Yo-Yo, no? Or the Beyblade, not the Yo-Yo.
It's funny you say that. There is a Speedroid Yo-Yo.
Oh, is there? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go with the Beyblade. I mean, the Beyblade's the only one in here that it doesn't take up your normal summon. You can special it from your hand whenever, and I'm assuming this is the one you want in your opening hand because it starts the chain. Not that the Borg is bad. It's just this is the only one that actually starts it, because the Borg doesn't actually start it. You just get, like, I guess if you control a wind monster, you get to special summon it. But again, like if you don't have a wind monster to begin with, you can't even special summon it. So it's like you need the Terratop. Terratop's good.
Final answer?
Final answer.
Terratop is insane.
course I
It's a
would want.
card that, like you said, you're right with a lot. You want to have it in your opening hand, you special it out to the field, you get the Takaton board, you bring that guy out, and now all of a sudden you can make Invoker. You can make any rank 3. I showed you the classic combo here that a lot of people remember from this time. And like you said, it's a never-ending chain to get you to what your deck is trying to do. Obviously, like, you don't know what the end goal is here, but you can imagine for the purposes, it's actually pretty damn good. So much so that Speedroid Terratop was limited. Banned. It was the Invoker, if you can believe it. MX Saber Invoker got banned. It turns out that being able to special summon a level 4 Earth Warrior or Beast Warrior is really fucking good in Yu-Gi-Oh! Because that is a lot of cards. And a lot of unfair cards on top of it. And eventually this card just got so degenerate that they just decided to ban this guy. He's still banned today. I don't know if he's going to come back anytime soon. And honestly, I think people will be okay with that because this card is, it enables a lot of bullshit. Just with what the things it specifically gets, it's kind of bullshit. But it's an age-old question, right? Do you get rid of, like, the guy that, like, gets to the enabler, or do you get rid of the enabler itself, right? It's always a coin toss.
There's other ways to get the Invoker, I'm guessing, though.
Yeah, it's any 2 level 3 monsters. I just showed you, like, the freest way to do, because this takes your special summon, or it doesn't take your normal summon, rather, right? You special summon, overlay. You can literally search whatever, and that's your normal summon, what you searched off the Invoker. So you got all this value for absolutely free, for basically minimal investment. It was just way too efficient. And a lot of the times during this, the time that Terratop was legal, if your opponent opened Terratop, like, you were in for a rough ride, because it was just, they would accumulate so much advantage, you'd feel so far behind. So, but yeah, both of them got hit respectively. Terratop, I think, is at 3 again, but I don't think anyone really plays it anymore. I think it's a bit too gated. But yeah, still cool card nonetheless. Still is a cool card. So first miss, but to be fair, that one was a bit tougher. This one is going to be reminiscent of our last video because here's a couple of pendulum monsters.
I'm gonna have to remember how these work. Just give me a second, hold on.
You're just going to love this because of the art. I already know.
What the fuck is that? It's a guitar playing as a guitar? Okay. Oh my god. Look at that guy. That's actually insane. Is this in the anime? Like, holy shit.
Honestly, if it was, I wouldn't know because I didn't watch it during this time. I'll even help you out with this one. The only effect you need to care about here is the pendulum effect. So the one in between the 2 scales.
So this is the warrior guitar. I gotta do like a review before this. I didn't realize that they study for this video. Your pendulum is your back row.
Correct.
Your scales are the most left and right.
Correct.
Anything between the scales you can summon for free.
Correct. You
I
pass.
hold his heart to break down.
So They're both 7 in this case, so it doesn't matter. I can't remember if
They're always the same. They're always the same.
You can discard one card. Special summon one Symphonic Warrior monster from your deck, except this one. You can only use this once per turn. Okay, so you can discard one card, and then you can summon another one of these. Or from the same. What are these called? Family tribes? Organization?
Organization. Cults.
Here's a great question for you. What other ones are there?
Funny you should ask, Rick.
Great. Oh, I was hoping it would be like a bigger guitar playing him. That would be my dream. The Warrior Mix? Oh, it's a mic.
It's a
Warrior
microphone.
Mics.
Get it? Get it? So this one, I'll help you out. This one you want to read the monster effect. Because remember, guitar summons the monster directly from the deck. So you want to read the monster effect.
Okay, you can special summon this card from your hand by removing 3 symphonic counters from your field. After your normal or special summon this card, you can normal summon one monster during your main phase this turn in addition to your normal. Okay. So you get an extra normal again.
Sounds familiar?
Yes. Where do you get the counters from?
The counters don't matter, because remember, the guitar is just immediately special summoning the mics mix. So, like, you basically can ignore the first part of the text.
Okay, so you are discarding one card from your hand to get a guaranteed mic into play, which allows you to get an extra normal summon during your main phase this turn.
This came out 4 years after Seraphic.
How good is that? After you normal summon this card, you can normal summon one monster during your main phase in addition to normal. Okay, so you just showed me last time a way to just get like a continuous cycle going, and that doesn't require a normal summon at all. So how good is 2 normal summons per turn comparatively to the last thing you did?
Keep in mind, Mix is also a pendulum scale 1. So you've got a wide range that you can also, if let's say you just draw the mix and the guitar, you can just make pendulum scales and just vomit out your whole hand if you want.
I don't know if I ever asked this question last time, but if you special something from the deck, special something this monster from the deck, the mic, you could put it in your back row, make the scale?
No, I'm saying in the instance of, let's say you don't want to like get the extra normal summon, you can, as like different utility, you can scale both of them in your pendulum scales, and now you can just pendulum summon your whole hand if you want.
So in this case, you don't need the special summoning because you're going to use pendulums.
Correct. What you're saying. Correct. So you can either, go and get the mix out, get yourself like 2 normal summons. That's really cool. Not to mention, you can play like multiple copies of these, right? So like you can get yourself the extra normal summon with mix, and then play a second mix in your other pendulum scale, and still pendulum summon anyway.
Can you remind me as well, with the pendulum scale, you can just pull monsters from your extra deck?
It's hand and extra deck, correct.
And an extra deck. You have the ability to get 1 in 7 pretty consistently, is what you're saying.
Correct.
Which means now your extra deck is like infinitely better because you're probably stacking your extra deck with things that you can summon with the scale.
That is true.
Probably disgusting if I have to take a guess. If it's anything like you just showed me in the last video, I mean, like that mechanic seemed pretty good. So, so I feel like one of these is probably banned for sure. The question is which one. The guitar draws you what you need. The mic is obviously good though because it allows you to do both. Is the guitar broken if you don't have the mic? Pulling a card from your extra or pulling a card from your deck.
To help you out, this is like the premier thing that you want to get off of the guitar. I would say you're only playing these two together. There's not like an extra thing you get off the guitar.
In other words, if the mic's gone, you're probably not playing guitar. So then the mic's
correct. I will help you out with that. Yes.
So the mic's the problem then, because I mean, now the question is the mic actually banned? I mean, a scale at 7 and 1 that takes literally no effort, and if it's anything I saw in the last video, pretty fucking good. So yeah, we'll go. The mic is banned.
Final answer.
Final answer.
These cards are fine. Totally fine.
Why though? Why?
It's kind of weird. So obviously you want to make the comparison here to Brilliant Fusion, which is one of the reasons why I want to show you this. You typically would play guitar and mics mix, whatever, in like a 3-to-1 ratio. You could play a second mix if you want to have like a complete pendulum scale, or you could just play any other pendulum scale, right? Like it doesn't have to be mixed. But typically they play the 3-to-1 ratio just to get the extra normal summon. There have been decks historically that did play this combination of cards. When you compare it to Brilliant Fusion just does way more for less. You get to like dump cards to the graveyard, so you get added value there. Seraphonite is just like a way better card to summon than Mix comparatively. These two cards do obviously have the pendulum thing going for them. So like I said, in the instance of if you don't want to get the extra normal summon off Mix, you can just like do some pendulum scale bullshit, like, you know, pendulums typically do. But for the most part, like, it's kind of just, like, fine. I didn't really know what else to say. It's not really searchable. Like, Brilliant Fusion was searchable with, like, Orpheus Scorpio, so, like, obviously that was an issue. The decks that really wanted to play this just, like, were never, like, particularly insane. And they were just kind of, like, it's crazy to think that a combination of cards that either gives you 2 normal summons or lets you just, you know, have the ability to pendulum summon, that from your perspective, that seems fine. That's kind of just how Yu-Gi-Oh! Is, to be honest. Like, there's just more broken shit you could be doing.
See, it's interesting though, because you said that fusion summon was banned, right? So then wouldn't the thing under it become stronger, which means like, or doesn't this combination of guitar might become a lot better if you can no longer go fusion?
Yeah, you would think so. And again, like, people sort of brood with it, but at the end of the day, it's like Brilliant Fusion just gave so much value for so little that so many decks could play it, where this combination just like isn't exactly the same. It's just like it's Brilliant Fusion at home, if you will. And yeah, I don't know. It's this comparatively is just totally fine. Brilliant Fusion just has way more power in an individual card for what you're getting out of it. And I think Yu-Gi-Oh! Each individual card, except for like the bricks or the garnets that you have to play to facilitate a good card like Brilliant Fusion, the power level is just so high in Yu-Gi-Oh! That these cards just like don't make the cut. Like just getting an extra normal summon and having the ability to pendulum summon isn't enough. Like you need to be doing more than that, especially like if you want the card to be like really strong, if not ban worthy. But like I said, these cards did see play in some decks. I won't say they were unplayable, but it was very, very uncommon to see these cards, to say the least.
I thought it was over the money, but okay. I'm not salty.
Not at all. I don't hear any salt in your voice whatsoever.
That's fine.
Oh, okay. This is going to be an interesting one. Let's see if we can like
The last video definitely like pushed me in the wrong direction. Hardly shown in the last video. Anytime I see pendulum now, I'm like, oh, that's probably closer. It's like, you know, when you see a druid card,
to be fair, most of the time I think that's true to say.
it's like when you see a druid card for Hearthstone, you're like, oh, okay, so it's already good. Yeah, so it's the same thing. Neo's Fusion. Special summon 1 fusion monster from your extra deck that lists exactly 2 monsters as material, including Elemental Hero Neos. By sending those monsters from your hand, deck, or field, ignoring its summon conditions. Oh god. For the rest of this turn, after this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters. If a fusion monster you control that lists Elemental Hero Neos as material would be destroyed by battle or card effect, or shuffled into the extra deck by its own effect, you could banish this card from your graveyard instead. Okay, so that's pretty good.
Okay, I'll give you some more context here. So here's our good friend Elemental Hero Neos. He's just for all intents and purposes, he's just a big guy. He's just a big guy.
Let me read this again. So you could special summon 1 fusion monster from your extra that lists exactly 2 monsters of material. So it has to, the monster you are summoning, just making sure I'm reading this correctly. The monster you are summoning from your extra deck has to include the hero.
Correct, and I will get to that momentarily. So I'm showing you like this card is just like a 2 tribute big moron. Like he's bad otherwise, but you need to play it to play the Neos fusion. Okay?
Okay, this is nasty though, okay?
Okay.
The fact that you can just pull this from your deck and it ignores summoning conditions is very intriguing.
You're not pulling this from, this is not what you're summoning. You'll get to that moment. That's just what you're sending to the graveyard to summon the big thing.
Oh, okay. Okay, sorry.
Okay. We'll get to that momentarily. This is the other card you are sending. I am going to save you here. You do not have to read this card. This card does literally nothing. This card actually does nothing because you are only playing this because of what you are summoning. This card, if you draw this card does literally nothing for you, okay? It's just like a card. So you don't even have to read it. It's cool. It's Rainbow Dragon. It's a sick card. But you are summoning, you are going to send those 2 cards to the graveyard to summon this guy.
Rainbow Neos. And this guy's from your extra deck.
Correct.
Must be fusion summoned with the above fusion materials. And I'm guessing that Rainbow Dragon is just a crystal dragon. Is that what it is?
So initially, it used to just say Rainbow Dragon. There's like translation issues sometimes. Rainbow Dragon is also technically an ultimate crystal monster. Just don't buy. For this, it's Rainbow Dragon. Don't worry about it.
Okay, once per turn, you can activate one of these effects. Send 1 monster you control to the graveyard. Shuffle all monsters your opponent controls into the deck, into their deck, I'm assuming.
Correct. Or if they're from the
Okay.
extra deck, they would just go back into the extra deck.
Okay, send one spell / trap card you control to the graveyard. Shuffle all spells and traps your opponent controls into the deck. Okay. Send one card from the top of your deck to the graveyard. Shuffle all cards from your opponent's graveyard into the deck. All three of these effects are actually pretty decent. The last one is disgusting. Like the last one's gross. Like that is
I mean, they're all gross. They're all gross.
So, but the first one is the worst one, I would imagine. Well, I guess you have to. Okay, so one monster you control, I think is you would rather send your top card of your deck instead of a monster you control. So I think always you're picking the last one.
Well, keep in mind, he can send himself.
What the fuck? What do you? Okay, hold on, wait. But why would you want to do that?
Well, if you don't have another monster, that's all. I mean, obviously you want to keep out a 4,500 attack point monster on the field. Don't get me wrong. But like, if you absolutely have to, like, you can get rid of him too.
Yeah. Okay. Fair. I think from like the three options though, I think that one's like the worst one by far. It's not even close. Like I would rather just send the top card in my deck. Is basically what I'm saying. One spell / trap card you control to the graveyard. So the good thing about spells and trap cards is they don't have like normal summon requirements. So you can just play one and get rid of it. But that does require you to put a card from your hand onto the board and just sacrifice it. But obviously you're getting probably a lot of value if you're that concerned. How does this work? Is this like a quick effect, by the way, or like?
No, these are like sorcery speed ignition effects. So you can only do this on your turn. If this was a quick effect, this would be a completely different conversation.
And does this card, like, can your opponent counteract any of these? Like if I do the second option, does your opponent has time to like activate the spells and trap cards?
They do. Yes, it would start a chain, and your opponent would be able to respond to it. Correct.
It's actually really interesting. There's a lot of things you could do with it, which is great, and it's just a huge dude.
Yeah, it's
like,
a cool
so
card.
Opponent, you basically like say to your opponent, like you're using these spells or trap cards right now, otherwise they're gone, which is like very, very good effect to have because often you're probably waiting. If you're like having them set, you're probably waiting for a very good moment. I think the last option here is disgusting. Like I'm pretty sure that's illegal. I would gladly take the top card of my deck to just destroy my opponent's board. So like that sounds pretty good. How do they even interact with that? Like, is there anything? I guess they give you again just proc effects and hope that it stops this, but that is mental. And let me just go back to Neo's fusion here. Hold on. Let's just summon one fusion monster from your archetype that lists exactly 2 monsters in the tier. Okay. Putting limited here Neos. So the Neos is from your deck. The Dragon's also from your deck.
Correct.
Sorry, let me correct that. Hero is from your deck. Dragon is from your deck. And then you're always summoning Neos, I'm assuming, based on the conversation that we're having.
Correct. You're always summoning, for the purposes of this, you're always summoning Rainbow Neos, yes.
And for the rest of the turn, after this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters. If a fusion monster you control that lists elemental hero knows material will be destroyed by battle or card effect or shuffled into the extra deck by its own effect, you could banish this card from the graveyard instead. So you could use the first option, if I'm understanding this correctly, but then instead banish this card from your graveyard so this stays on board, but your opponent's monsters get shuffled back into their deck?
Correct.
Oh, that's what you're saying. Okay.
You got there.
That's pretty.
You got there.
So in that case, it's like, do you value the top card of your deck more than this card? Because once this card's in your graveyard, what are you doing with it? So that's why this effect is good. I mean, obviously that's fantastic. I mean, it's tough to imagine that this is not playable. It might be too slow though. I don't know if it is.
What if it's bad? What if this is just like the biggest trail of breadcrumbs I've ever given you?
It is very, like, this one doesn't speak like disgusting. I don't know why.
Okay,
you are
interesting.
you are going through a lot, but the thing is like,
are you?
I also have to imagine. I mean, okay, so let me explain here. If you're going second, how much worse is this effect? Which I actually think it's like pretty substantially worse. Because unless you're like, if you go for the monster thing, your opponent probably is going to do stuff with their monsters first before you ruin it. But I guess if it does activate, it's really good. If it resolves, like, you probably win the game in the spot, even going second. So it's like, can your opponent build a big enough board or like a big enough wall to stop this from ruining your life? Probably. This one's interesting. I don't know. It doesn't give me the same vibe as the other ones. The other ones are like, here's a ton. I mean, but you're like, as long as you get the spell card. Is there a way for you to find the spell card?
I may have shown it to you earlier in the video.
Oh, you did. You did. There's a card that gets you a fusion monster.
Mm-hmm.
Or a fusion spell, which is the Cobra. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna go back. Are any of these banned? I should write this shit down. This is too. I'm playing fucking like a trucker hunt over here. Is Cobra? What,
you should be happy I put so much thought into these videos to tie all this together.
It is very impressive. I will give you that. Can you just remind me, for the sake of just my brains collapsing, were Scorpio or Cobra banned?
No, they are not banned.
So that means one of these motherfuckers has to be banned, which is actually more annoying. I was gonna say, if one of them got banned, this becomes a lot worse because you don't have a consistent way of getting it unless it's a card that you haven't shown me. But now that they're not banned, that means Neo Fusion's probably guaranteed to start in your hand with enough redundancy.
You can evaluate these two cards together. You're playing Neos Fusion for Rainbow Neos.
If the Neos Fusion is banned, Neos is unplayable. So it's Fusion banned. Is special summoning one fusion monster from your action deck that lists exactly 2 monsters of material, including the hero Neos, by sending those monsters from your hand deck. Bro, I mean, like, that sentence is just so gross.
I thought you were getting the vibes. What happened?
Well, I didn't realize it was this consistent. I was like, man, if you don't get this fusion card, like, you just kind of lose. Like, this whole thing just feels so bad. But then, yeah, you're right, because you just pull from your start. Or if you have the Cobra, it's like, okay, you just get the whole package. And but if they're not banned, why would... Okay, hold on. If they're not banned, why would they ban these guys? There's no way, man. Why would the Konami team ban, like, the cool thing rather than just, like, the engine that makes it enabled on turn 1? Like,
Did they ban it at all? Did they ban it at all?
Maybe it's just bad. Maybe it is just bad. I'm not going ban. I don't think it's bannable. I think they would have banned the actual, like, getting this consistently on turn 1 if they were going to ban it.
But they banned Brilliant Fusion.
That card I think is good. No, it's not banned. It's not banned.
Final answer?
No more banning. Final answer.
Rainbow Neos. Oh boy, let's talk about Rainbow Neos. So, this card's actually very old. This card's very old. It was actually released in 2008, if you can believe that. When it was released, it never saw play. This card is in the anime. This is like one of the protagonists. Like, I'm not going to get into it, but it's a very like iconic thing from the anime. In any case, Neos Fusion, the first card I showed you, actually was released a lot later on. It was 2019, if you can believe that. I believe it was actually right before COVID, not long before it, which is kind of crazy to think about retrospectively. But anyway, so people saw the release of Neos Fusion, and they're like, holy shit, this card's fucking crazy, because now we can actually summon Rainbow Neos, which inherently is really hard to summon otherwise, but Neos Fusion just does it all for free, right? As long as you play the bad cards, Neos and Rainbow Dragon in your deck, then you just get to play this fucking powerhouse of a card, which is funny because you said, like, going second is bad. This is kind of the reason you want a card like this going second, because let's say your opponent either sets up a bunch of monsters or a bunch of back row, which during this format that this card was played was very common. This was like sort of your final piece of your game plan to like wreck your opponent's shit, because what you would try to do is you would try to pick apart their board, kind of bait out their negations, and then if you slam Neos Fusion at the end of all of that, if they don't have a way to stop Rainbow Neos from activating, they lose their whole board. And during this period, if a player had a board of like all monsters, they all got shuffled back into the deck. If it was a graveyard-based deck, which was also during this time, it all got shuffled back into the deck.
They don't have the thing.
Shuffling back into the deck in particular is a very interesting mechanic that is not seldom seen in Yu-Gi-Oh! Just because of how powerful it is. This effect does not target, it doesn't destroy. The fact that it shuffles means that nothing in the graveyard will trigger. If they have a graveyard set up, it's back of the deck, so now they have no value there. Think about, like, you know, setting stuff off Brilliant Fusion or whatever. Extremely, extremely powerful card, but it was totally fine. It was fine. You're right.
I feel like every time you go through these stories, I'm just waiting for you to say, like, oh, it was actually okay.
Yep, it's fine. It's fine. It was like, there was nothing really like wrong with it necessarily. It was a good card. It did see a lot of play. It actually, like, I remember when it first debuted, I think it like either topped, I don't know if it won the tournament, but it like topped the tournament. Everyone lost their minds because someone like figured this out. But a huge haymaker card, very Yu-Gi-Oh style of card. But it's just like, okay. I think the biggest restriction on it is that it locks you from special summoning for the rest of the turn after you activate it, which is fine if you do a bunch of other stuff prior and then slam Neos Fusion after the fact. But aside from that, like, it always has to be like the last thing you do. And Neos being an older card too, it's you know, you can just negate the effect, right? If I go Rainbow Neos, try to like wipe the board, it's like, okay, negate, and then it's like, cool, now it doesn't do anything. It's just a guy. So like, he's fine. He's a really cool card. It's cool that he had its time in the spotlight, but totally fine. And it's like very you know, for its time it was playable, and it did see a decent amount of play, but it is what it is. It was a cool part of history though. Next up, we are nearing the end here. There's only a couple left. I'm excited. You might have actually seen this card, as a matter of fact, since you did play some Masters of the World. Think about this guy.
I actually do know this.
Do you remember?
Psi Frame Gear Gamma. I do remember that if you pull something from your deck or something, it negates it. I think this is this card. Could be wrong.
All right.
Cannot be normal summoned or set. Must be special summoned by a card effect. When your opponent activates a monster effect while you control no monsters, quick effect, you can special summon both this card from your hand and a Psy Frame Driver from your hand, deck, or graveyard. And if you do, negate that activation. If you do that, destroy that monster. During the end phase, banish the face up monster special summoned by this effect. If I remember correctly, this card was very good. You only run, I think you only run one copy of it though. At least that's what I was running in Sword Soul. So this is like where you were talking at the beginning. You don't want to run a lot of these because if you do run a lot of these, they just kind of do nothing in your hand.
Okay.
But having one means if you don't draw it and you do have the Gamma, you just stop them from activating something, which is Ginormous and Yu-Gi-Oh. And you get to summon both of these, which I guess could be relevant to defend or whatever if you really want to go for that. I don't even think that's really relevant, to be honest, within the conversation. It's just like, do you want to stop the monster effect?
Sure.
Very good card.
Sure. I did send you the Psy Frame Driver. It's just a guy. Again, this is like a soft garnet, so you can still use Gamma if Driver's in your hand. Obviously, you don't want to draw Driver ever, but you are still able to use Gamma if that's the case. It does not hard lock you out of it.
And the Gamma is just in your hand too, right? So it's
Correct.
Yeah, you basically, this card's good going second, I think it was. And then, because you need to have no, I guess if you have no monsters, it's fine though. While your opponent activates a monster effect, well, you control the monsters. Yeah, you want to make sure you have no monsters. I mean, from personal experience, this card was very good. I don't think it was banned because obviously I played with it unless they did it recently. So,
but Master Duel and TCG and the Asian territories all have different ban lists, and we're going if this card was ever
talking
banned.
IRL
We're
here.
talking ever banned in TCG.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. So, funny enough, you bring this card after you showed me the other one because you could use this card to stop the Neo, can't you?
You can,
Just
actually.
go.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
yeah, you could. Sure.
Maxie's banned and what we're talking about, correct? Just remind me. I think
Maxi
it
is banned in the TCG, correct. It was legal in Master Duel.
Is it banned now?
No, it's still, I think they put it to 2 in Master Duel.
I was like, holy shit, that must have been one of the greatest.
Oh, we're hoping. We're hoping, buddy. We're hoping.
Wow.
Slowly but surely.
Wow.
Slowly but surely.
That means that they would, okay, if Maxie's at 2 Maxie's at 2 in Master Duel, but it's banned IRL. They could do the same kind of concept I don't know if you want to tell me this, is Gamma also, because I'm not worried about Driver here, you're worried about Gamma. Is Gamma at 3 still, or is it at 2?
You want to know currently what it's at?
Like in Master Duel?
In Master Duel, you want to know what it's at? Good question.
I'm just doing some comparisons, you know?
Okay, sure.
I mean,
Let me look it up for you.
It's like, there's a chance this is banned. I'm not sure if it is. There's like Ash Blossom, right? That does the exact same effect, but it's only one card, if I remember correctly. Or is Ash a spell? I can't remember.
Ash is a monster. Ash is similar. It doesn't negate any monster effect. It only negates certain types of effects, and it doesn't destroy the monster. That's like a big thing with Gamma, is that it actually takes the monster out with it. In Master Duel, Gamma is limited to 1 copy.
Maybe that's why I was only rolling 1. It's a pretty good effect. It's also pretty, like, feels bad, man.
Like, oh, like you had this card, now my whole monster's just dead. Does the monster effect still activate? I don't think it does, right? I think it negates
With
it
Gamma,
like
no, it negates the effect too.
All right, we'll go with Dan. I'll say it did do Dan. I mean, it's so good going second. It's insane.
I'll answer.
Not even second. Wait, so hold on. Remind me.
If you were, okay, you have no monsters if you're going second, your opponent plays this, you can activate on your opponent's turn. So then when they're setting up their board turn 1, you just jam this and like maybe their whole thing is dead.
Yep.
Like, the whole combo's.
Correct.
Yeah, I'll go Dan. That seems pretty good. I feel like you don't want card. Oh god.
No, go on.
Okay, so
Go on.
Actually, that was my brother. This card isn't bad. I'll go with my guy. I'll still say it's bad. I was gonna say I feel like in Yu-Gi-Oh at least, like you probably don't want a card like Maxie in the instance of if I have this card in my opening hand, the game just doesn't feel good for any player.
Sure.
Like it just came down to me drawing that card. That's pretty fucking stupid. So,
man, yeah, smile.
And you would be correct about this card feels very bad, but it is limited. You are incorrect. As soon as I told you what it was a Master Duel, I'm like, oh, he's probably gonna figure it out, but nope, not banned. It's weird because it's limited to 1, which means it may as well be banned, but this might blow your mind. Even though it's a 1-to-1 ratio, because you still have to play the driver, some people are crazy enough to still play 1 Gamma because it's like that good. There's no other hand trap. That's not true. There are few other hand traps that actually remove the monster from the field itself. There are plenty of hand traps that negate effects. Effect Veiler can do that. Ash Blossom can do that under certain circumstances, et cetera, et cetera. There's plenty of things that negate effects. taking out the monster with it is huge. Just because you usually need the monster to then do something with the extra deck, right? Whether it's like, you know, a synchro summon, an exceed, like whatever. So removing the monster means they don't have one of those materials to start doing their plays out of the extra deck, and that can really stifle their plays. This card is insane going second, but it's also insane going first, and let me explain why. Let's say you activate a spell card that says special summon a monster from the deck, right? Your opponent can use Ash Blossom as Chain Link 2 to stop that effect from resolving, because Ash Blossom negates the effect of a card that special summons something from the deck. Chain Link 3, you can use your Gamma to negate their Ash Blossom, because you, at the time of this happening, don't have a monster on the field yet. So not only can you reactively use Gamma to stop your opponent from playing, you can proactively use Gamma as a way to force your plays through, which means hand traps just become trivialized, which is one of like the main ways of interacting with Yu-Gi-Oh! Konami has sort of taken this stance where like cards like this, there's other cards as well that like have the ability to negate hand traps. I think they really wanted to limit the power of these cards, because if you have the way to force your play through and your opponent's hand trap doesn't matter, then what's the fucking point, right? At that point, like, the hand traps don't even matter. And so Gamma being at 3 was like so crippling, because not only would you negate their hand trap, Gamma summons itself and the driver, and now you get to do a bunch of other shit because you have 2 extra monsters on the field in addition to your thing resolving.
Oh,
so
true,
you would get
true.
so far ahead in advantage from the resolution of a Gamma that they had to ultimately do something about this card. This card was so I say was, it's still limited technically, but it sees very little play being limited because like no one wants to run the 1-to-1 ratio, but it's such a frustrating card to play against that like, oh, I have the way to stop my opponent, and they just Gamma you just want to just immediately quit out of the game. It's so frustrating. It actually took a while though for them to do something about it, because I think it took people, it was a combination of, I think it took people a while to realize the power of this card, but the game had to also evolve to the point where Gamma was just like, everyone was playing Gamma because it was so good. It just like, it was like one of, if not the best hand traps like in the game. And that's with Maxi being banned in the TCG, by the way. So, like, you could Gamma Maxi, but, like, it was still good without, like, Maxi even being in the format, because you stop any hand trap. Gamma was nuts. Gamma was fucking crazy. And so, yeah, not banned, though, but it may as well be since it's limited to 1. It just doesn't see a lot of play.
Okay.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder why they printed a card like this to begin with. I guess they truly didn't see what it was going to do.
No, I mean, like I said, like, so Gamma was printed in, I want to say, like, 2015. This is before, like, Ash Blossom was printed. Ash Blossom was printed, like, a couple years later. So hand traps had become as ubiquitous as they are in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! So Gamma was, like, this really high power, sort of, like, you know, you can play this really good hand trap, and it has a lot of downsides in quotes, right? Because you have to play the driver. It only works if you have no monsters. There's a lot of like restrictions on the card. You can't even like normal summon it and use it as like a guy. You literally can like only get it out of your hand with this effect. So it has a lot of downsides to it. And with the way Yu-Gi-Oh! Was around the release of this card, it just wasn't really necessary. It was like more of a liability than anything. And as the game evolved, as more hand traps entered the game, like once we did start getting Ash Blossom and all the other hand traps in the game, Gamma has way higher utility because now it actually has a lot more things to stop. And then it's funny, you can like probably track the trajectory of seeing this card's increase in play as people realize it was way more higher value than initially thought. So it's one of those cool cards that were in Eternal format that people are like, yeah, this card's actually pretty damn good. Let's start playing it. And then it's too good, so they have to do something.
All right, fair enough.
Last one. We've showed you some fusions, and we're gonna end on a good one.
Oh my god. Red Eyes Fusion. Fusion summon 1 fusion monster that lists a Red Eyes monster as material from your extra deck. Using monsters from your hand, deck, or field as fusion materials, and if you do, its name becomes Red Eyes Black Dragon. Sorry, the monsters you're using to summon becomes Red Eyes Black Dragon? Or
no, the monster itself, but
that
that doesn't matter.
Okay. You cannot normal or special summon other monsters the turn you activate this card. You can only activate 1 Red Eyes Fusion monster. Summon 1 fusion monster that lists a Red Eyes monster's material. Hey, you're gonna have to show me what monster this is. I'm very excited. I want you to know. I can't wait to see it.
I was gonna say, because you know some of these from the anime. So first of all, I'm gonna show you the materials that you will be using, because you should be very familiar with them, Mr. Legacy of the Duelist.
Yeah, I do know. Okay, so Dark Magician's one. Okay.
And of
What's
course,
the payoff here? Yeah, of course, Red Eyes, Black Dragon. Sorry.
right? So it's Yugi and Joey's boss monsters. You ready to see what they combined into? And you're
Yes,
gonna
yes.
you're gonna shit. This
Yes.
card's insane.
I'm gonna shit. I do remember this kind of. I think it is in Legacy of the Duelist. I could be wrong. Let me read this. What it does? The Red Eyes, Dark Dragoon.
Give it a read. Give it a read, Bird. Give it a read.
Dark Magician plus Red. Okay, that's the fusion. Okay, cannot be destroyed by. Holy shit! Hold on, I gotta zoom in here. Cannot be destroyed by card effects. Neither player can target this card with card effects. During your main phase, you can destroy one monster your opponent controls, and if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the monster's original attack. You could use this effect a number of times per turn, up to the number of normal monsters used as fusion material for this card. So every single turn, you can do this twice.
Correct.
Or 3 times.
Twice.
No, 2 times. 2 times. So yeah. Once per turn, when a card or effect is activated, quick effect, you can discard one card, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card, and if you do, this card gains 1,000 attack. Okay, so basically, we're gonna really sum this whole thing down. If you get this card on board, the game's over.
You tell me. You tell me. Break it down for us. Break it down for us.
You can't. Neither player
What?
can target this effect. So if a card says destroy every minion on the board, this includes it, right?
Nope, this stays.
You can't.
This cannot be destroyed by card
Oh,
effects.
cannot be destroyed by card effects. You're right. You're right. Yeah. How do you win if this is on the board?
Oh, right, it doesn't negate.
How do you
I don't know
win? You tell me. You tell
During
me.
your main phase, you can destroy one monster your opponent controls, and if you do, inflict. Okay, so you have a way to kill your opponent without attack. You have a way to kill something first and then attack with this after. You can use this effect a number of times. You can do it twice per turn. You can also discard a card, negate the activation, and if you do.
How would this be in Hearthstone?
I mean, Hearthstone's interesting because it depends on how you're getting it. Because if it's like 10 mana, but you could cheat it out, it would probably be a problem for sure.
Well, I showed you the way to summon it, so.
Well, I'm just trying to think of like Hearthstone, right? How would you actually get this? Because you would need to like, I don't even know how they would do it with
That's
future
true.
monsters.
That's true.
That's what I'm trying to think of. Like, for Hearthstone, like this effect is good depending on how you get it on board.
Okay.
There's been card effects that are like this minion's immune, for example, right? The immune keyword is very, very good, but it still dies to AoE. So like I don't even know how they would. Maybe if it dies, it would go dormant. I don't even know how the fuck they would handle this card. I don't think Hearthstone wants this card in the game.
That's probably the
honest
correct
question, right?
answer.
So, because I think in Hearthstone specifically, right, the fact that you can't interact in your opponent's turn means that not only mechanically does this not work, but God, it'd be fucking miserable if they got this on board and you're just watching them just kill your monsters, but like doing absolutely nothing. In Yu-Gi-Oh, the question ends up being, if you get this on board, you probably win the game. The question is, are you likely enough to get it on board? Because if hand traps exist, you would proc it on the actual Red Eyes Fusion, right? You wouldn't proc it. Well, okay, so you're gonna have to explain semantics here. If this is about to come on board, does the effect cannot be destroyed by card effects exist if it's not on board yet?
There is, like, what do you mean? What are you getting at?
So, like, you could, I guess in other words, say you can only destroy this before it gets on board. Like, you have to stop it from being on board, basically, is the way you kill this card. And I'm using kill quotations there.
So, for instance, go, if you look back at Rainbow Neos, right? Rainbow Neos has the effect that it shuffles all monsters on the field back into the deck. That is an effect that does not target, and it does not destroy. So, there are effects in Yu-Gi-Oh! That
It's not a card effect?
It's not destroying. It's shuffling back into the deck. So it's a different type of effect. So there are these types of effects in Yu-Gi-Oh! That do not target or do not destroy. I will say those are fewer and further between, and that targeting and destruction are obviously like the most common. But there are ways to be able to, out something like this. The other way you could do it is you could negate the activation of Red Eyes Fusion so that this card never comes out onto the field into the first place. So that's also something you could do.
I think in the game, at least, which is not a really good representation of what real Yu-Gi-Oh! Is like, I think this card was very good. But obviously, like, you're going against the bot. Or at least I was. So, I don't know how...
Wait,
like,
no, hold on. No. What? Okay, hold on.
What's up?
You are
on.
talking about this card. You saw this in Legacy of the Duelist. Hold on.
Which one are we talking? Hold on. Which one am I talking about? I don't know. It's been a little bit now at this point, to be honest with you. So.
Okay. When you said that at first, I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about? And then I put it together. Hold on. Everyone in the comments is going to be like, how did you not figure this out sooner? One second. You saw this in Legacy of the Duelist.
Hey, that looks familiar. Yeah, that does.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, yeah. This card fucked, bro. He was good. Okay, so that means okay. So I'm guessing Red Eyes Dark Dragoon came out much later on.
Yeah, Red Eyes Dark Dragoon came out in like 2020. Yeah, Dark Paladin came out in 2003.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense.
I'm like,
That makes
how
a
did
lot.
you see? I'm over here like laughing that you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? You saw this in Legacy of the
Listen,
Duelist, and I'm like,
They kind of look the same. They both got the fucking purple background-ish, right? They both kind of have the same pose. They both have a Dark Magician fusion. Something like
you're not wrong. No, you're not wrong. You're not. I'm actually. It's hilarious because like once I put it together, I'm like, oh, I get it. Okay.
Okay, so 2020. Okay, you try to play this. What if they just gamma this and you cry? Well, you can't gamma it.
You can't. Well, so that's actually interesting. Well, there's another issue. Theoretically, you could gamma Dragoon, but it won't kill it. So you could negate the. So let's say I go the effect to like destroy one of your monsters, right? Theoretically, you can gamma to negate the effect, but it won't destroy Dragoon because he can't be destroyed. Also, Dark Dragoon has a built-in negation on top of it. So if you tried that, I could just discard a card and negate the gamma anyway. So there's like multiple issues with what you said, but just so you have the full context there.
So, okay, I'm just gonna go off a limb here and say it's pretty fucking good. I think what really it comes down to is, do you have the right cards to negate the actual fusion summon, not the card itself? And I guess in some instances, you probably have a way to shuffle it back into your opponent's deck or whatever. And if you do that, you're probably also in a really good spot because then they may not have the resources to get it back on board. I think your best bet's probably to stop the actual summoning.
Would you like to see another way that you could out this to help with your evaluation?
Sure. You know what? That'd be actually fantastic if you would be so kind.
Sure. Let's go ahead and help you out here a little bit. Let's show you this guy. This is one of my favorites, actually.
Man. Well, that guy looks kind of, it looks like a Pokemon. Gamseel, Sea Turtle Kaiju. You can special summon this card from your hand to your opponent's field in attack position. By attributing one monster they control. Oh, that's fantastic. If your opponent controls a Kaiju monster, you can special summon this.
I will say you can just read that and just be done. The rest is irrelevant.
You could special summon this card from your hand to your opponent's field in attack position by tributing one monster they control. Okay, now, pray tell, how does this help me get the Red Eyes Dark Dragoon? I'm just trying to understand how this is relevant for me.
Because, again, Dark Dragoon has protection from targeting and protection from destruction. You are physically tributing their monster. Think about like a tribute summon, but it's like you're tributing like your opponent's monster and giving them a different monster. So Dragoon has no protection from this. This is not an effect that Dragoon can negate because it's not an effect. It's like a summoning.
You're saying your opponent uses this. Sorry, I understand what you're saying. Sorry, I thought this was like you're using this guy to summon the Dragoon. You're saying from your opponent's perspective.
I showed you. This is a way to another way to deal with the Dragoon if you're staring it down on the other side.
Could you imagine? You go through all of this and then they just play this.
And there are multiple of these types of cards. The Kaijus are an entire archetype. They're based off Godzilla. They're an entire archetype where you tribute an opponent's monster to give them one of these guys.
That is an extremely interesting archetype.
It is. It's very cool. People, when the Kaijus were released, people were like, "This is fucking sick."
I do like that effect. I wish they would do that. Like Hearthstone could maybe use that for something. That's kind of cool. I mean, if there's a critical mass of these and it's like you just run them in your deck to counter this, is that okay? So that is.
Does that justify
these cards,
Does that justify?
Yeah, like it's you run this as like a symptom of like Dragoon's so good you need this card then. But does that make so then it comes down to Konami asking, is there enough of these cards and do we like the gameplay pattern of like, oh, I summon big monster but then it gets Kaiju? If depending on how Konami feels about that, then like isn't that like the perfect balance? You have a counter to something that's disgusting, and if you do have it, then you're a good deck builder and you should be rewarded for that. Does it feel bad? Necessarily, like probably yeah. Like if I'm the guy running Dragoon and gets Kaiju'd, can I do this on my? I can do this on my opponent's turn or no?
No, it has to be on your turn. It is a sorcery speed action, if you will.
So they will get okay, and you can negate this.
The
Kaiju
summoning,
itself?
You cannot, because it is a summoning mechanic. You're literally tribute summoning your opponent's monster and giving them this. It's not an effect. It's just a summoning condition.
That's crazy. I think it's balanced. I don't think it's bad. I think like if this is like a healthy cycle in Yu-Gi-Oh, which it seems like it is. It seems like people are happy with like this trade-off of like, oh, you do get a good monster, and then I'm gonna Kaiju at the turn after. Like I think that's fine. I'm hoping the Kaijus were out by the time this card came out.
I'll help you out. The Kaijus came out first.
Okay, then not bad. I'll go with this one. I'm happy with it.
You're correct. Dragoon is currently unlimited at 3 copies, if you can believe it, after being banned for several years. This card is a fucking plague of... Oh my god, I'm sorry. I had to ruin it for you.
That's crazy.
This card's not okay. This card, well, it's funny because it's legal now, but there's another issue for that. We'll talk about that in a moment. This card's fucking nuts. This card. So here, let me give the story of Dragoon. So basically, this card was never in the anime or anything because the anime ended like a long time ago. But this is like, if, you know, everyone, this is the love child of the anime. If like Yugi and Joey were like in some like climactic battle, and if they had to fuse their 2 boss monsters together, like this is essentially what it would become. And you have to think about how much the anime nerds were just like salivating over like what this card is, right? And because of the fact it's like an anime card, if you think about it from like Konami's perspective and a business perspective, if you make this card fucking broken and it's an anime card, think about what that does for like the perception of the game. That you can tell people, yeah, like you can play Dark Magician and Red Eyes in your deck and you get to summon like the strongest monster that they printed in like, you know, 20 years or whatever, right? So it did a lot like for the game in that regard, that it was just like people were happy and excited to like be able to like say that they get to play Dark Magician and Red Eyes to summon this absolute monstrosity you see before you. This card is mental. Like, this card is so fucking good. Even though there are the kaijus and there's stuff, no one was using Rainbow Neos to outfit, but like kaijus were like one of the more popular ways. There's plenty of like, there's a few other ways to deal with a Dragoon. It's not impossible, but it's very irritating. Don't get me wrong. That doesn't like justify the card existing. There is another card that I didn't show you, and I may save for a different video, that was also banned. That was a way to basically just like help cheat this out, essentially. Similar to like the Orphis Scorpio being able to, well, Orphis Scorpio, funny enough, can search Red Eyes Fusion. There is a way to basically just immediately get to the Red Eyes Fusion to just get Dragoon onto the field for free, that you don't have to like draw it or add it to your hand like with Scorpio. That was much easier because it was in the extra deck, so it was searching it through the extra deck, which is way easier to get to. This card is just, it's so frustrating and irritating to play against. It's legal again because the card that was the more, not that this card isn't oppressive, but the thing that was enabling it to be summoned way easier is banned now. And it's kind of just at a place where like no one touches this card, which is crazy to think a card this good does not see play. It's just like not enough. I can't believe I'm saying that, but it's just like the game's just like not in a place where like a card like this is legal and no one plays it. Like I can tell, we just, at the time of recording this, we just had a tournament. This card saw play in like 0 decks. If you can believe it, its card's busted.
Why doesn't it see play?
It's just the way the game. Decks? It's just the way the game has evolved. At the end of the day, like I said, the part of it was the way that this card could be cheated out very easily. When this card was first released into the game, it was a menace. Like every deck was like playing this if it could, and it was just you had to build your deck around knowing that Dragoon was in the format. Now the game's just in a completely different place where a card like this is just it's just there's better things you could be doing. There's more efficient things you could be doing. The game has just evolved into a spot in the past 5 years that it's yeah, you're just Red Eyes Fusion has a big restriction on it. I mean, you can't normal summon, or like you can't summon the turn you activate Red Eyes Fusion. And that card that cheated it kind of bypassed that restriction. The fact that like all you can do is like Red Eyes Fusion, summon Dragoon, and like pass, it's not good enough. So the fact that that other card got banned was a big reason for Dragoon not seeing a lot of play.
All right. Fuck me. That was so ruthless. I want you to know.
You did so good with the pendulum video, and then we're back to the old
I mean,
way.
listen, I think I did fine in this one. Like, but you know, I'll hold the pendulum video. It's fine. It's fine.
That's fine. Honestly, I think that's a better W to hold than this one, for what it's worth. But it's funny too because I thought I'd shown you Dragoon before, and I looked through all our videos. I don't think I did. It's great. I did.
I don't know. Maybe Stevie showed it to me at some point. There's something about the name that makes it familiar. Like Dragoon is like, because I'm thinking like, why is it not called Dragon? And why is it called Goon? Like, what is the point of that? Maybe there's another card that has Dragoon in it that you showed
Maybe he's
me.
gooning. Maybe that's why.
Okay, well, I mean, listen. Then
I mean, the fit
for the
with
best
the fit he's got, I don't know. I can see it, but you know, you saw it in Legacy of the Duelist. What do you mean? So guys, that's going to wrap it up for another video. I really hope you all enjoyed. Let's go ahead and shout the patrons for all their continued support. So shouts to Shout1317, Tim00x3, MBT Play Medolce, Moto, Cameron L. Smith, The Synchro Guy, Pony Stark, Dan the Man Hoban, Little Fade Leaf, Draconic, Brian Dancer of Class 7, Dylan Rare Hunter, JW11860, Flannel Daddy, literally all of the guinea pigs, Cheeks McLapperty, Stolfin Amethyst, MBT canceled by community soon, canceled by all committees soon, canceled by all players soon, Wonder Waffle, MBT and Nimnims 1, Boxer Brief, Fueled Knight of Passion, Daniel Howell, Electrician of the Ice Barrier, Arco, and the Nova 129. Thank you again so much for watching, and we will see you next time.
Instant win buttons. That's what this deck needs. Literally nothing else. Evenly matched just doesn't actually make a lick of sense to bring.
Let's go. Dusty, driving, tumbleweeds on the road, sunny, steering, get the girl in my bones, take down, shaking, I'll be back on the show, pumping, rhythm, getting out of control, record is what I'm seeking, six shots, to faster and lightning, shopping, it's time for headbanging, and bam, bam, the bar will be shaking. Back in the town, I gotta give her the rap. I wanna kill this morning with my booties rock. I gotta hit and run 'cause I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna shoot at everybody, talking like trash. Blah, blah, blah. I gotta kill this morning with my booties rock. I'm gonna kill 5 tendencies of talking die. And I'm a super freaky badass son of a gun. Shut, shut, shut. Dusty, driving, tumbleweeds on the road, sounding, steering, get it girl in my bones, take down, shaking, I'll be back on the show, pumping, rhythm, getting under control, record is what I've been seeking, six shots, too fast and lightning, shopping, it's time for headbanging, bam, bam, the ground will be shaking. Back in the town, I gotta give her the rap. I wanna kill this morning with my booties rock. I gotta hit and run 'cause I don't give a fuck. I gotta shoot at everybody, talking like trash. Blah, blah, blah. I gotta kill this morning with my booties rock. I'm paying this 5 times until the talking die. And I'm a super freaky badass son of a gun. Shut, shut, shut. You're in the perfect mood, getting big change, especially when you're ready. More times think no brutal till it captures you. Either you go
Well,
with
shit.
or stop without determination, but you're not alone in this complication. So come with me. On your mind, your sky, set the mood and treat you like love. Make a move, we protect you, make an afternoon. One that you can get your own world, and nobody else will do for you. Like a vampire, nothing can dying in the sun.
What the hell are they playing?
So let's drop that hammer down.
Every path you go is a prototype, more room for
Oh, it is literally just, it is actually just hentai. Why are they playing 60 cards? Infernoids. Actually. Yeah, let's fire this off. They have a Promethean Princess engraved, but I'm not sure if they have follow-up. Also, I didn't mean to place that there. Yep, I fucking knew it! I knew it! I fucking knew it! That's why I didn't activate mask! Shit isn't once per turn. Never mind. It's once per duel. Oh, wait, does that not make Promethean Princess miss timing? Oh. Interesting. This deck is fucked up. One more duel and then I'm gonna shower. Hmm.
go is a prototype, more room for growth at the same time as real life on the verge of deciding the color of the rest of your life. Bit too heavy to think like that, but on both sides leave big impact. Get wise and rise, so with me best to find.
Some of my regrets go with me till this day. Choice I made, it was wrong. I felt blessed to believe that I was alone.
He held the troll in lock, which would have immediately won the game for him more often than not.
Go through what I've been through, 'cause you're not alone in this frustration. So come with me when you mention that I couldn't treat you enough. Make a move before make you act on it.
If I gotta be someone who's always trying to meet others' expectations, I'm gonna stay rather die and say nothing lies ahead. So I burn and trade it out. I'm that abnormality, most wanted for disturbing the formality.
Negative vitality, superficiality, recognize my personality. Oh boy, not again, came back again with a plot against me. That's what I think for again. Hold your missions born again. Never lose my fight like go feel quick, like concentrated, be careful when I'm agitated. Don't let anyone mislead you like you were nobody. You mean so much to me, let them laugh at you. Let's see at the end of the day, who's gonna be smiling? The school days, it's real life. Realize that being a textbook, your life is gotta get out your life. I did it my way, it leads on the highway, fast and furious. Well calculated, it's mathematics. While I'm at it, my shots automatic. I wanna delete the system so I can...
Don't let anyone mislead you like
Dun-dun-dun, 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 dun-dun-dun.
let them laugh at you. Let's see at the end of the day, who's gonna be smiling? Being different from
That's not who I expected.
things that I can't. It's okay to be who you would just be you. So don't let anyone mislead you like you were nobody. 'Cause you so much to me. Let them laugh at you. Let's see at the end of the day, who's gonna smile? Don't let anyone mislead you like you were nobody. 'Cause you so much to me. Let them laugh at you. Let's see at the end of the day, who's gonna be smiling?
If I gotta be someone who's always trying expectations of the class day. Rather die and slave, nothing lies ahead. So perpetrate up. I'm that abnormality. Most wanted, disturbing the formality. Negative vitality.
Oh no, don't tell me. Ah! Oh wait, I can't destroy this with effects either. Ugh. Oh, nice. I didn't notice Grangoigna wasn't here. I can only think of one card. I think I can handle it. Yeah, they have a lot of follow-up. Alright. Well, the fact that they scoop meant that there was no reason for me not to negate, I suppose. Big oof. I wanna play one more game where I can just be brain dead. That wasn't what I wanted to do. Actually, do I really want Kashtira Unicorn?